If you are watching this video right now, it's not an accident. You are a special child of God. He has led you here because this message carries something that will shift your life. This is not just another video. This is a high-end spirit-filled word that will be very helpful for you. It will add to your knowledge, strengthen your faith, and open your eyes to the reality of God's favor moving in your life. Before this month ends, you are about to see the hand of God in ways you have never imagined. His favor is about to enter your situation. His blessings are about to overflow. And what was once impossible is about to turn possible. You are not here by chance. You are one of God's chosen ones. And this message is your confirmation that a divine shift is coming. So before we dive deeper into this powerful word, I encourage you, like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to this channel. Together, let's take this family of faith to 10,000 subscribers and beyond, spreading the message of God's goodness across the world. Stay tuned, because your life will not remain the same after what you're about to hear today. You may be looking at your life right now and thinking that time is running out. Maybe it feels like you've prayed and believed for something, but the days keep passing and nothing seems to change. The end of the month is getting closer, and you might be tempted to say, maybe it's not going to happen for me. Maybe this just isn't my season. But I came to remind you today that God still has time left on the clock. He is not limited by deadlines. He is not restricted by calendars. And He does not operate according to human schedules. What looks like the end to you is still plenty of time for Him to move. God can do in a moment what you couldn't do in a lifetime. And before this month ends, you can still see His favor show up in your life. Sometimes we forget that God created time. And because He created it, He is not bound by it. He can pause it, accelerate it, and redeem it. Just because your natural eyes can't see anything shifting doesn't mean the heavens aren't working on your behalf. Many times, right when it looks like the deadline has passed, right when it looks like the opportunity is gone, God steps in with a miracle that no one expected. Think about the people in Scripture who faced what looked like the end. When Lazarus had been dead for 4 days, people said it was over. Time had run out. But Jesus showed up and proved that the clock belongs to Him. He called Lazarus out of that tomb. And life came back into what everyone else said was finished. If He can do it for Lazarus, He can do it for you. What looks dead in your life, what looks like it has no more time, can come back alive through the favor of God. You may be saying, I don't have enough time left in this month to see a turnaround. But God doesn't need the whole month. He can bless you in the last hour of the last day. He can give you an opportunity in the midnight hour that shifts everything. One touch of His favor is all it takes to move you from the back of the line to the front. One encounter with the right person can open a door that's been closed for years. Don't put limits on what God can do because of a calendar. Don't tell yourself it's too late when God is whispering to your heart, I still have time left on the clock. So many people give up too soon. They stop believing because they don't see progress. They quit praying because it feels like God is silent. But the truth is, many times the breakthrough comes right when you are tempted to give up. The moment you feel like you can't go any further is often the moment you are closest to your miracle. That's when you have to remind yourself that God is faithful, and if He said He would do it, He will do it. It may not happen in the way you expected, but it will happen in His perfect timing. He knows exactly how to align the right people, the right opportunities, and the right resources to show His favor in your life. Think about Joseph. For years, it looked like nothing was happening. He had dreams, he had promises from God, but instead of rising to the top, he found himself in prison. Days turned into months, months into years. From the outside, it seemed like time had run out on his destiny. But in a single day, God shifted everything. Joseph went from the prison to the palace, from being overlooked to being promoted. That's how quickly God can move. That's what His favor can do. He doesn't need a year. He doesn't even need a month. He can do it suddenly. And if He did it for Joseph, He can do it for you. Don't let the ticking of the clock make you anxious. Don't let the end of the month make you lose hope. Instead, and lift up your faith and expect God to surprise you. Expect His favor to find you. Expect His goodness to overtake you before this month ends. You are not running out of time. You are right on schedule for God's plan. He knows how to make up for lost time. He knows how to restore years of disappointment with one season of breakthrough. You may think it's too late for the promotion, too late for the healing, too late for the relationship, too late for the dream. But God is saying, I still have time left to show you my favor. Sometimes God allows things to come down to the wire because He wants to show you that it wasn't by your strength, your effort, or your connections. It was His hand alone. He allows it to look like it's too late so that when the breakthrough comes, there is no doubt who gets the glory. That miracle, that open door, that turnaround will be a testimony not just for you, but for everyone who sees it. They will know that it was the favor of God that moved in your life. So don't worry about how much time is left on the calendar. Don't focus on what hasn't happened yet. Keep your faith alive and your heart expecting. God is not finished with this month. He still has blessings with your name on them, and He still has doors that He can open before the clock strikes midnight. You don't need to figure out how it will happen. You just need to trust that it will. God is faithful to complete what He started, and He is not about to let this month close without showing you His hand of favor. Before this month ends, get ready to see something shift. Get ready to receive what you've been praying for. Get ready for a surprise blessing, an unexpected turnaround, a favor that leaves you in awe. The clock is still ticking, and as long as it is, God has time to move. Keep your hope alive, because you are not going to finish this month in the same way you started. You are going to finish with a testimony of God's faithfulness, and everyone around you will know that His favor showed up right on time. You don't have to chase after the blessing. You don't have to manipulate your way into opportunity or wear yourself out trying to make things happen. When you are walking with God, favor will find you right where you are. His goodness has a way of locating you even when you feel overlooked, even when you feel hidden, even when you feel like you are not in the right place at the right time. The truth is, when you are in the will of God, you can't miss what He has for you. His favor knows your address, it knows your workplace, it knows the season of life you are in, and it will show up and find you when the moment is right. So many people live with this pressure that they need to run after every opportunity, network with the right people, or be in the right crowd. But God's favor doesn't need human connections to reach you. He is the one who orchestrates divine connections. He is the one who positions you in front of the right people. You don't have to wear yourself thin trying to chase down every open door. Instead, rest in the fact that the favor of God will come knocking on your door at the appointed time. What God has for you will not pass you by. Think about the life of David. He wasn't in the palace trying to get the attention of King Saul. He wasn't standing in line hoping someone would notice his potential. He was out in the fields, tending sheep, doing a job nobody celebrated, living far from the spotlight. But favor knew where to find him. When Samuel came to anoint the next king of Israel, all of David's brothers were lined up, but the oil didn't flow for them. Samuel asked, "Is there another?" And they went to fetch David from the pasture. Imagine that he wasn't even invited to the lineup. Nobody thought he was significant enough to be chosen, but God's favor found him right where he was. He didn't have to chase the crown came chasing him. That's the power of favor. It will find you in obscurity and bring you into destiny. Some of you feel like David right now. You're working hard, staying faithful, but it seems like nobody notices you. Maybe you feel stuck in the background while others are being promoted. But don't be discouraged. Favor knows where you are. God sees every act of faithfulness, every time you kept serving when no one thanked you, every time you chose integrity when nobody was watching. He hasn't forgotten you. And when the time is right, He will send for you just like He sent for David. He will lift you from the pasture to the palace, from obscurity to influence, from hiddenness to visibility. Another example is Ruth. She was a widow living in a foreign land with no status and no resources. From the outside, it looked like her life was over. But favor found her in the fields of Boaz. She wasn't looking for promotion. She was simply picking up leftover grain, trying to survive. Yet in that place of humility, favor located her and turned her entire story around. She became part of the lineage of Jesus. That's what happens when favor finds you. It doesn't just bless your present, it secures your future. You may not have the best RA Sum A, the most connections, or the loudest voice in the room, but you have something greater, the favor of God. And when favor finds you, it can do what your effort, talent, or background never could. It can open doors that no man can shut. It can take you where your qualifications can't take you. Favor is not about where you are, it's about whose you are. And because you belong to God, His favor will always know how to locate you. Sometimes we think, if only I lived in a different city, if only I had a different job, if only I knew different people, then maybe I'd succeed. But the truth is, you don't have to be anywhere else. You don't have to wait until conditions are perfect. God's favor can find you in the exact place you are standing. It can meet you in that small office, in that quiet home, in that little business that nobody knows about. Don't despise where you are right now. This place might be the very place where favor comes knocking. Favor has a way of surprising you. It shows up when you least expect it. A phone call out of the blue, an unexpected opportunity, a door that suddenly opens. You didn't go looking for it. It came looking for you. That's why you don't have to live with the anxiety of trying to make everything happen in your own strength. Your part is to stay faithful, stay expectant, and stay ready. God's part is to let favor find you. And when it does, it will feel like a divine setup. You'll look back and say, I couldn't have arranged that. I couldn't have made that happen. That was nothing but the favor of God. Don't underestimate what God can do before this month ends. Favor could find you at work, in a conversation, through an email, or even while you're minding your own business like David in the field. You don't need to be stressed, striving, or running after everything. Favor is already on its way. It knows how to bypass the crowd to get to you. It knows how to pull you from the back to the front. It knows how to turn what seems ordinary into something extraordinary. So lift up your head. Don't be discouraged by where you are. Favor knows your name, and it knows how to find you. You're not going to finish this month empty-handed. You're not going to remain overlooked or forgotten. God's hand is on your life, and His favor is chasing you down. Before this month ends, expect favor to find you in unexpected ways. Expect the goodness of God to show up right where you are. You don't have to go anywhere for it. He's bringing it to you. Favor is not just coming. It's already looking for you. And when it finds you, nothing will ever be the same again. Life has a way of making us feel stuck. Maybe you've been in the same situation for a long time, praying, believing, and holding on, but nothing seems to be changing. You wake up, go through your day, and it feels like the same struggles keep repeating themselves. You might even be tempted to believe that this is how it will always be. But I want to tell you today that sudden turnarounds are coming. God has a way of stepping into a situation and changing it so quickly that it leaves you in awe. In one moment, everything can shift. What looked permanent can be overturned in a second when God breathes on it. What seemed impossible can suddenly become possible, and before this month ends, you could see His hand move in ways that you never imagined. We serve a God of suddenlies. All throughout Scripture, we see Him move in unexpected, dramatic ways. Think about Paul and Silas in prison. They were locked up, chained, and guarded. From the outside, it looked hopeless. But at midnight, as they began to sing and worship, suddenly there was an earthquake, the prison doors flew open, and their chains fell off. Notice that word, suddenly. They didn't see it coming. They didn't know how it would happen, but God had a turnaround waiting for them. That's how it works. You may not see a sign. You may not feel like anything is happening, but God has already scheduled a sudden breakthrough for you. It doesn't take years for God to move. He doesn't need a lifetime to change your situation. It can happen overnight. Joseph was in prison one day, forgotten and overlooked. But the next day, Pharaoh called him, and within hours, he went from the prison to the palace. That's a turnaround only God could orchestrate. And the same God who did it for Joseph is the same God who's working in your life. You may feel like you're stuck in the prison of debt, the prison of sickness, the prison of disappointment, but your sudden turnaround is coming. Sometimes God allows things to go on longer than we want because He's preparing something bigger than we expected. If He answered too soon, we would settle for less. But when the turnaround comes, it will be greater than you imagined. The wait makes the breakthrough that much sweeter. Don't confuse delay with denial. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. It means God is setting it up so that when it happens, it will blow your mind. Think about the Red Sea. The Israelites had Pharaoh's army behind them and the sea in front of them. There was no way forward and no way back. It looked like the end. But then God told Moses to stretch out his staff, and suddenly the waters parted. What was an obstacle became a pathway. That's how God works. He turns barriers into blessings. He turns dead ends into open roads. You may be staring at your own Red Sea right now, but don't panic. You're not stuck. You're just one sudden move of God away from walking into freedom. It's easy to let discouragement convince you that nothing is going to change. But I want you to raise your expectations. Stay in faith. Keep declaring God's promises. Because sudden turnarounds don't happen to people who give up. They happen to people who keep believing even when nothing is shifting. They happen to people who sing at midnight like Paul and Silas. People who keep worshiping, keep serving, keep trusting. Your praise is powerful. It invites God into your situation. And when He shows up, chains break, doors open, and turnarounds take place. Maybe you've been praying for your health. You've seen doctors, taken medicine, but nothing has improved. Don't lose heart. Your sudden healing can show up when you least expect it. Maybe you've been working hard, but the opportunities keep passing you by. Keep your faith alive, because the right door can swing open suddenly. Maybe your family has been divided for years, but God knows how to restore relationships suddenly. He is a God of restoration, and He can soften hearts, bring forgiveness, and unite what looked broken beyond repair. What I love about sudden turnarounds is that they don't just happen to bless you. They happen to show others the glory of God. When Lazarus came out of the tomb, it wasn't just for Lazarus. Everyone who witnessed it believed in the power of Jesus. Your turnaround will be a testimony. People who doubted you will see God's hand on your life. Those who thought you'd never make it will watch you rise. That sudden breakthrough will declare loud and clear that God is still working miracles. The enemy wants you to think you're running out of time, that nothing will change before the month is over. But don't listen to that lie. God is never late. He is always on time, and He still has time left to bring your turnaround. Remember, He created time. He is not limited by the calendar. He can shift things in the last hour of the last day. So instead of worrying, start expecting. Expect God to surprise you. Expect that sudden phone call, that sudden opportunity, that sudden healing, and that sudden reconciliation. Expect that the God of suddenlies is about to step into your situation. When you wake up each morning, declare, this could be the day for my turnaround. This could be the day God surprises me. That kind of faith attracts favor. That kind of faith positions you for sudden breakthroughs. Don't give up now. Don't let weariness rob you of your miracle. You may feel like you've been in a long night, but remember, joy comes in the morning. The darkness is not permanent. The chains are not permanent. The sickness, the lack, the trouble, it is not permanent. You are closer than you think. One sudden move of God can shift your life, and it can happen before this month ends. So keep your eyes lifted. Stay hopeful. The same God who parted the sea, who opened prison doors, who raised the dead is the God who is working in your life today. And just like that, suddenly everything can change. Sometimes in life it feels like things are stuck. You've prayed, you've believed, you've done everything you know to do, and yet the situation hasn't changed. The door hasn't opened, the healing hasn't come, the relationship hasn't been restored. It looks like it's not moving, like you're in the same place you were last month, last year, maybe even longer. But what you need to remember is this: just because it looks stuck doesn't mean it's stuck. God is always moving, always working, always arranging things behind the scenes, even when you can't see it. What looks like it will never change can shift in a moment when God breathes on it. So many times we judge our future based on what we see today. We assume that because it hasn't moved yet, it's not going to move. But faith doesn't look at the visible. Faith looks at the invisible. Faith says, it may look stuck, but I know my God is working. Faith says, the waters may not have parted yet, but I know He's the God who makes a way. What you see in front of you is not the full story. There is a whole spiritual dimension where God is aligning, preparing, and setting things in motion for your breakthrough. Think about the children of Israel when they were trapped at the Red Sea. Pharaoh's army was behind them. The water was in front of them. They were convinced they were stuck. From the natural perspective, they were out of options. But God told Moses to stretch out his staff, and suddenly the waters parted. What looked stuck wasn't stuck at all. It was waiting on God's command. And that's how it is in your life. That situation that looks immovable is not as fixed as you think. God has the power to shift it in your favor. Another story is in the New Testament. Peter and his friends had been fishing all night. They were experts. They knew the waters. They knew the timing. But they caught nothing. It looked stuck. The nets were empty. But when Jesus showed up, He told Peter to cast the net one more time. And suddenly the nets were so full they began to break. Notice this: the fish were there all along, but it took the word of Jesus to release them into the nets. That means your miracle is not gone. It's just waiting for God's timing. It may look stuck, but in reality, it's just waiting for the right command. Many of us give up too soon because the situation looks unmoved. We stop praying, we stop expecting, we settle for less. But if you could see what God is doing behind the curtain of your life, you'd realize it's not stuck. It's simply in process. The promotion is being lined up. The right people are being prepared. The healing is working its way through. The financial provision is being arranged. Don't let the silence of the moment fool you into thinking nothing is happening. God is not still. He is working even in the waiting. Look at Lazarus. He had been in the tomb 4 days. The stone was rolled over the entrance, and everyone said, it's over. It's too late. From their perspective, it was stuck. But Jesus called out his name, and Lazarus came walking out alive and whole. What looked final wasn't final. What looked stuck wasn't stuck. The stone wasn't the end. It was just an opportunity for God to reveal His power.